Bubbly bards and bardettes, welcome back to I Cast Vicious Mockery. I'm Austen.
I'm Matt.
And today, we're definitely talking about some homebrew today. Let me tell you that now.
Yeah, it's going to be a big part of today's episode for
today's
sure.
the first. I'm talking about the first of the year. It's January 1st.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
For us, it is. For you, I don't know what day it is.
Well, who knows? You could be watching this anytime. It's 2021, by the way. So if you're watching this in your sleep through your YouTube Dream subscription, then that gives you context of the before times when you had to watch it on a screen. This is the current era,
right?
Of this.
Yeah. So like you know, I mean, like 100 years from now, like, let me just tell you, things are a little different now than they are for you.
Than they are for you right now.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, no matter when you're watching this, it's the future from where we are right now.
Right. I just can't imagine what kind of wonderful things you've seen and experienced that we have not.
Truly magical. Really.
Truly magical.
Truly magical.
I have no idea how you're doing this time traveling. But anyway, let's talk about some D&D. That's what the people have paid for, and let's give them their show.
Sounds good to me. Okay, well, is there anything in particular you wanted to start with?
I think let's start with maybe accessibility, because then we're going to be talking a lot about homebrew today.
Yeah.
We've got so much homebrew for you.
I don't know if this conversation may or may not blossom into anything more, but really I just wanted to say that I think one of the really nice, great things about D&D is how accessible it is to pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
Because it's really not limiting at all. No matter what kinds of, disabilities or impairments somebody might have, they can probably play D&D.
I've definitely heard of a lot of people with different mental backgrounds coming to D&D and really getting a lot out of it. Things like people on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
Learning through mechanics how to deal with social situations and things like that. And plus you have to work with a group. Like you can't ignore that aspect of the game. There is the group dynamic of you and the other players. And when you know that everybody's on the same side and you all want to have a good time and you got a DM who's facilitating that can be really helpful for a lot of people, I would think,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Like people who normally have problems with distrusting other people who, see others in a way. I don't know. Some people just, they quote unquote just don't like people. I hate people, right? Like that sort of thing.
Yeah, the people. Yeah, there are people out there who say that kind of stuff. Yeah. But
you let them loose in a D&D setting and it's fine. And they start to get over that. Like, I think if you play long enough, you realize that people are amazing. This is what we were saying last episode.
Yeah. How people are usually pretty great. If you look for that, then you'll find it everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is cool. Unfortunately, I think that there's a certain barrier there. Like a lot of people who feel that way or think that way might never experience that in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. Because they're not going to go out of their way to try something that's based on other people.
Right. Exactly.
But at the same time, I think that D&D has a certain power. Or role playing in general. There's a certain allure to it that, because I think that people who hate people know that they are people too.
I hate
to break it to you.
Yeah, I'm sure at some level they acknowledge that.
If you say something like, I hate people, it is reflecting on yourself.
Well, I'm sure
in a
that
way.
yeah. People who think that way, I'm sure they include themselves
Right.
in that. Yeah, yeah,
And a lot of the time they're like, yeah, but I am, at least I'm better at this. At least I'm above average at whatever. I'm not as bad as some other people. But a lot of the time they think of themselves that same exact way.
Mhm.
They're just in that category of humans are terrible.
Yeah.
That's kind of how they think. Um, but at the same time, when you play D&D, you're not.
You can be anything.
You can be
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. That's which is
Right?
great.
You can be that. Well, even as a human character, you
Mhm.
can be the kind of hero who, as far as you can tell, doesn't exist in this world.
Yeah.
And guess what? You're learning how to be that kind of person by role playing them.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. The act of exploring other perspectives
Mhm.
too is a big deal because it can really, I mean, sometimes it can even cause like a paradigm shift
Right.
potentially.
Right.
Like really seeing D&D could cause you to look at things in real life and start thinking about them differently because you're suddenly seeing a perspective that you might not have before.
Mhm.
And I think it can be more powerful than something like a film or a television show or even a book because you're experiencing it.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. Things like those media where it's all laid out for you,
Mhm.
those have the advantage of being perfectly prepared.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So
Mhm.
they will give like you if you can get yourself invested in it, you have to do half the work
Mhm.
of like coming to it, being in the right mindset, being able to accept, that input. But then it's perfect. Like it's all set up and you just let it go and it enters through and you're like, oh, this is all. But I mean, for the longest time, I would feel nothing from movies or books or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
just nothing.
Mhm.
Now I have more empathy. And so I definitely do like, when there's a heartwarming moment in a movie, I feel that, and it feels good. Or when something sad happens in 5 centimeters per second, oh my God, that really wrecks me. But it wouldn't have when I was a kid, but video games did
Mhm.
have an impact on me.
Yeah, yeah.
Not even a crazy amount for that, but and role playing games. Obviously things like this where you're so involved in it, it's going to be easier to have that impact. Harder to set it up.
Yeah.
You need a good DM.
Yeah. The thing about D&D is that like it can be so much more impactful because of that,
Right.
but also a lot of the time investment of it, like you'll spend a lot of time engaging in things that aren't very engaging.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I
It's
mean?
not going to be heightened emotion for the.
In the way, like you said, because movies and television shows, they're procured, they trim all the fat,
Exactly.
like
That's exactly it. Yeah.
they're condensed into an experience that is
Right.
curated to
Mhm.
elicit these emotions, whereas D&D is something that you're improvising.
Yeah.
Basically.
And you know what it all comes down to is the level of abstraction from real life.
Yeah.
Like in most movies,
Hmm.
watching somebody go to the bathroom
Yeah.
is not part of the agenda. There's just not time. There's just not time in most
Mhm.
movies, unless it can be an important thing for that character. We
Right.
just don't have time to make sure they go to the bathroom 1 to 3 times a day.
Right.
However many it is. I don't know what's a normal number actually for that off the top of my head. I think it's
16 to
about
23
two.
times a day, of course.
Yeah. Uh,
Right?
I the days, the nights, I can't tell where's what. But and so those are highly abstracted away from real life. They're like we're missing most of it. In a
Right.
role playing game, a lot more of the stuff that's in life is going to be present,
Hmm.
and that kind of helps with the pacing and peaking of the emotions.
Right, exactly. I think that those downtimes where not much is happening are important.
If it's just routine combat after routine combat, but then something crazy happens, you're like, what? Whoa, hold up, right?
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
it can really hit you hard when you're not expecting it.
Yeah,
Same thing as like a character turning on you when everybody else so far has been super nice and helpful, right? Like,
right.
and maybe you're the kind of person who expects that, and then you look at yourself afterward and you're like, oh man, do I really expect that everybody in the world is like out to get me? I don't know. It's a fun thing to consider.
Yeah, yeah. Right, right. Exactly. Um, I so to sort of consolidate that back here for a second.
Mhm.
Um, one way that D&D helps to engage people
Right.
is that no matter what you might be missing, like even if somebody's like colorblind
Exactly. Okay.
or maybe they're missing a hand or
Mhm.
something like that, right? And really, you don't even have to you don't even have to do anything different to
Right.
play the game.
Yeah.
Like it's not any different
No.
for those, for anybody who has, even if somebody's in a wheelchair or like, you know, maybe if they're like paralyzed from the neck down, they might have to do something a little different.
And
But
if you lack in certain areas of like charm or something like that, if you're not the kind of suave, cool person that you want your character to be,
mhm.
those things can be done mechanically,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Like it's possible to like any deficiencies you perceive in yourself can be made up for in your character, and
Right.
you can get that experience. And not everybody wants to experience what it's like to be a perfect person. Some people are coming at it the exact other way around, and they want to know like how they would act if they were a person with flaws.
Mhm.
I don't know how I would act if I had flaws. No clue.
I don't know how you would act with flaws either.
Yeah, we'll probably never know.
Yeah.
We'll probably never really know.
I could try to describe it to you, but I don't think you'd get it because you've never really experienced that.
Something like no. Yeah.
I I just now I lost it. I had something to add to that, but I lost it. I think that it had something to do with flaws. No, it didn't have to do floss. Oh, like the dance?
Yeah.
That the kids are doing still.
They're
definitely still doing that.
Still.
All right, because I learned how to do it the other day to be more relatable.
I can like picture it, but I've never tried moving my body that way, so I can do it in slow motion probably.
Yeah, I always get confused about where my arms are supposed to go. I actually do have like a bit of a coordination issue with stuff like that.
Oh well, what I've come to realize is that for things involving dexterity and manual skill, it's all a matter of time.
That's true. Yeah.
And what I mean is, the people who are good at it they're good just because they can do it faster. That's really the difference. Because if you are patient enough, you can make a perfect drawing. I've done it. I've done a really good.
Yeah, you've talked about that before, right?
If you're patient enough, you can crank out something really good. The only issue is you have to wait so long, and somebody who's good at it. There is another aspect to it. There is another thing of like having a level of sense, of taste, of refinement in your acuity, to be able to see the difference at the deepest levels. And I guess I couldn't do that with drawing.
Right.
There are definitely things I couldn't replicate. No, see, I could probably replicate them if they were shown to me. But I couldn't perceive the difference unless it was shown to me yet. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I guess that I just changed. That was a pretty big pivot on a viewpoint for me just there.
You just flipped all the way around.
Yeah. Well, there are two components to it for me now. Of
right.
What makes a skill. But a large part of it is how quickly you can do something that is difficult.
Yeah, you just added some complexity to it. Well, it's like you ever hear, and you know what? Take this with a grain of salt because I honestly don't remember where I heard this, so it might not even be true. But there was like a story I heard. I believe it was Salvador Dali. Real famous artist. Was just sitting in
running through Salvador Dali quotes in my head, but go ahead.
He was just like sitting in a park somewhere.
Yeah.
And a woman walks up to him and she's like, "Oh, you're Salvador Dali." And he's, like, "Yes, I am." And she says, "Can you draw something for me?" And he like she like gives him a napkin and a pen. And he takes the napkin and a pen and he, draws something up. And then he says, "That'll be $10,000. And she says, "What? You just did that in like 5 seconds. Why would you why? I'm not going to pay that. Like, that's crazy." And he says, "No, you're not paying that much for the 5 seconds it took me to draw it. You're paying that much for the, 25 years it took me to be able to draw that in 5 seconds. Right. You know what I mean?"
Right.
So like, that's part of what I'm saying is I want to be able to charge somebody $10,000 to watch me floss.
Right.
It is
right. That's what we're working on,
ultimately the goal here. Yeah. I did remember what I was going to say earlier.
Oh, okay.
You said that, wanting, like, people want to play like a perfect person on D&D. I think that is not fun.
Well,
probably. I don't think it would be fun.
I got a Jim Carrey one for you.
Okay.
All right. He said at one point, "I wish everyone could just have everything that they wanted, so that they would realize that does not make you happy."
Right. Exactly.
I just wish that. Like, that's, yeah.
Yeah. Because when you're telling a story, and maybe that's not why you're playing D&D, which is fine too.
Right.
But that's what I like about it. If you're telling a story, what really interesting, engaging story do you know where the protagonist or really any character always makes the right decisions and is totally perfect and it's a good story? Like, I don't think there is one.
Well,
so
this is something. Can we pause on that topic and come back to it maybe next episode or something? Because this is actually something it's related to the thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
All right.
As long as we can remember to talk about it later.
Next episode's today, as far as we're recording today.
As far as we know, we're recording this next episode
real
today.
Quick prep in between the episodes and then give it another swing today. We should remember.
We should be able to remember. Okay, but yeah. So ooh, is this our first cliffhanger?
This we've probably done a couple by accident before.
Yeah, probably. We've definitely dropped subjects and said we were going to pick them up and then never did.
Yeah, well, before. A lot of it was stuff like we might come back to this, but this is one that I've been wanting to do for a little while.
This requires some fleshing out and will take a while. So yeah, I see what you're saying. We should probably explore this later. Anyway, what's on your mind? What are you thinking
right now?
Yeah,
like for our next show topic.
Yes, for this episode.
I got a good one.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you hear that sound?
Yeah.
Sounds like some bubbling. It's time, guys.
It's a champagne. It's Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. We got some. We brewed up some.
Sorry, sparkling wine. Champagne only comes from Champagne.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I forgot there was a place called that, and that would be what it is called. Okay.
You can't actually call it Champagne unless it's from Champagne. Do you know that? Like, you're not allowed to.
Oh, like labeling it? Yeah. There's a thing in Italy. They've got these different categorizations of olive oil or other products too. It's like it's a big thing in places where there's artisanal food products.
Right. Especially Italy and France are the two big places where
They're
that
the
happens.
big places.
You know what's interesting though? You can call it bologna even if it's not from Bologna.
Yeah. I don't know how that got
that one just
genericized.
Go and post a comment on how to pronounce that.
Yeah, what is the word?
What's the word for that?
Genericized?
Linguistics podcast.
Generated. No.
Generate. Nope. Generates is another word.
I don't know. What is it?
I don't know.
Anyway, though.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a homebrew time.
It's a homebrew. All right. Do you want?
I want to first talk about other people's homebrews.
Okay.
So what have we got?
Okay.
Anything good today?
No.
We're good. Oh,
no. How many do you want? Because that will make that one for. I can do 2, or I could just do 1. But that just because there's one I want to talk about specifically, but I have enough for 2.
Let's do 2.
Okay.
But
okay,
because we're going to be talking about. Listen, we have heard you. We've listened and we've heard what you've said, and you like the homebrew.
Yeah, the homebrew is a big hit,
and we like the homebrew.
It's one of my favorite things.
We do.
Yeah,
we love the homebrew. And we're going big in it right now today here. But I decided.
Okay.
That we'll talk about that later. What have we got?
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about a little 6th level abjuration spell.
Okay, that's a pretty powerful spell.
Yep, Zone of Arcane Empowerment. So we've talked about this before, but well, I don't know if we've talked about this on the show or not. But in D&D lore, generally speaking, if you're gonna go buy the book, any spell up to 5th level is like something that a normal person could feasibly be able to do in their lifetime.
They could, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to be the Jimi Hendrix of spellcasting.
Right,
you don't
exactly.
have to be the Don Bradman of spellcasting to do a 5th level spell.
Right, exactly. But every 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th level spells are all like really
you might have heard of someone who can cast a 6th level spell.
Right, exactly.
You probably haven't heard of someone who can cast a 9th level spell.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And if you met a person who could cast a 9th level spell, then that would be like meeting Jimi Hendrix.
No, it wouldn't be like meeting Jimi Hendrix backstage after Woodstock. It would be like in 2021 running into Jimi Hendrix on the street.
Right.
And being like, are you...
What?
How did you...
I have a lot of questions.
And he'd be like, I don't have a lot of answers.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so the range is touch and it takes an action to cast.
Okay.
Did I say what this was called?
Zone of Arcane
Empowerment? Okay, I did. I couldn't remember
the range is touch, though. Okay.
Guess who can cast this spell? Your favorite sorcerers only.
Oh, great.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
Okay, but I think this is cool because this particular spell talks about the weave, and I like the idea of the weave. I like the way that mechanic works in D&D. If you don't know what I mean by that, if you haven't heard that or know the lore behind it, we'll talk about it some other time. But it's cool. So you empower the weave in a 15-foot radius sphere centered on you. And that increases the potency of spells that are cast in that sphere.
Okay.
So until the spell ends, any creature of your choice that casts a damage dealing or healing spell in that area has the damage or healing dice enlarged by 1. All right. So this is kind of like how the psionic dice work. No, the psionic dice, the feat that Kinzoku has,
right? Yeah,
where it's a dice category increase. So if you cast,
so next Next die up.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So
Not add one more die.
Not add one more dice.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you were supposed to roll d4s for the spell, you roll d6s instead. That's pretty cool. So it says that if there's a spell that deals ongoing damage, the damage die reverts to normal if the caster leaves the zone. All right, so the caster has to be in the zone. That
makes sense.
Not necessarily the target, just the caster.
Well, the target shouldn't be in the zone.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they can be.
Well, it doesn't.
Auto zone.
Yes. Get in that zone.
Okay, anyway.
And then if any spell requires a saving throw,
right,
then the any creature that makes the saving throw has disadvantage.
Ooh.
So
that's rough.
That's
how you're going to hit a Tarrasque right there.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
That's how you're going to beat those guys up.
That's the only way. Don't they have a thing? I read through Tarrasque a couple of times, but I can never remember everything they do.
They have something about magic, huh?
Yeah, they reflect spells back at the people who cast them, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something they just automatically do or if there's a roll involved, but it might be like if they succeed, they take no damage and the whole thing is reflected or something like that.
It is something like that.
That's a big deal. That's a pretty cool. I liked that spell because it's a nice buff.
Right.
It's a high enough level spell that I don't think it's overpowered or anything. You know what I mean?
Especially because sorcerers don't get as many spell slots as wizards. They have other ways of casting more spells.
Well, actually, I think sorcerers get more spell slots than wizards. Not necessarily. So, actually, I think wizards. I think almost all casters, all primary caster classes, they actually all get the same.
Okay.
Spell slots. Wizards, druids, sorcerers. Anything else? I'm almost definitely missing one.
Warlocks don't.
No.
We know this.
Yes,
right?
yes, because warlocks get fewer spell slots, but they
get other stuff.
They get other features, and they like all of their spells are of like a pretty high level. So like all of their spells are like 5th level at a certain point, and they only have like 4 of them or something, but you cast them all at 5th level, right? There are other things about it that about warlocks that are cool, but I like this buff spell though. I like buff spells in general. I do think it's interesting that this is sorcerer only, because this really feels like a wizard thing to me.
It really does. It feels like if you studied the weave and knew how it worked, you would be able to make this happen in a zone around you.
Right.
It doesn't feel like somebody would just be like, hey guys, I'm a magical child who makes things stronger around me.
Right, exactly.
Like that's I mean, that's a good story thing, maybe, it could happen. But it's just like it just feels more wizardy.
It does. It feels very wizardy.
I like it for either one. So your wizard has very low HP.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe you don't want to make them the center of attention in that way. So that's nice. That's nice that they don't have to be, and it's the sorcerer instead.
Right. Well, on the other hand, though, I think that's a nice trade-off of the spell. It's like you're squishy, but now you're also being the center of attention, but also you're buffing everybody.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and they can counterspell for you and stuff like that, like whatever. So, how long was the duration again? Was it an hour?
Ooh,
or 10 minutes or something? I don't know.
What was an action to cast? Did it not have a duration? It might not have. 1 minute. It's concentration.
Oh, okay.
Concentration, so 1 minute. Yeah.
10 rounds. That's pretty good. That's longer than the average skirmish, I would say.
Yeah. Most spells that last for a minute
are meant for like a battle, but not the crazy battles.
Yeah. Well, maybe the crazy battles, but I don't know. Honestly, oh man, that's an entire session. If a battle goes for 10 rounds, I guess it depends on party size too.
It does, because Yeah.
For our campaign, it would be an entire
That would
session.
be a whole session.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing I will say is I am glad that in our sessions the battles don't go for, multiple hours, because that's hard. It's actually hard to keep track of.
Yeah, it
It's just
is
like tough to.
I am trying to make sure they don't feel like a slog all the time.
Yeah,
because they certainly could.
and I feel like the way to do that is just like make each enemy really dangerous and squishy. Right, like they can all, they're all, just put us up against just a bunch of glass cannons, and at any second, boom, somebody could go down just from like a couple of hits. And so we have to watch out for that. But there are so many of us that we can be like, all right, I'm doing the medicine check now, and you go take care of that, and like you do this and you do and so kind of the big thing is spreading out the group with the enemy attack patterns, like we naturally did in the last fight that we did. We were spread out to begin with. We were all in a semicircle around the entrance to a pyramid.
Yep.
And so that made it easy for the enemies to be like, all right, I'm going to go take care of this one, and you go get that one, and you go kill those, and we'll just do this real quick, and we'll go back to dinner or whatever they were doing.
Yeah, well, they were kind of beastie. I mean, they're intelligent, but a lot of it was just instinct. The way I decided where they would go and who they would attack it was basically just whoever was most obviously there. Like, like the sorcerer shot a giant fireball. Like, okay, there's a thing that just made
that's dangerous.
That made a big noise. Yeah, like let's go kill that. You know,
which is well, we could talk about machine learning and gradient descent and stuff like that later. And greedy algorithms, because that would be a greedy algorithm. And it's not always the right algorithm, but sometimes it is pretty good, and sometimes it's optimal.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the situation, right?
Yeah.
In this instance, it didn't work out for him.
No, but
you
I
guys
think they
came out
just
on
weren't
top.
strong enough to beat us. They might have been. It's tough to tell.
Yeah, the Shusuva was definitely a wild card. If the poison had worked on a couple of people, you guys would have been in a lot of trouble.
We would, they could have downed. Like if I feel like if something downs 3 of our party members at a time out of the 7, we're in a lot of trouble then. Yeah, right. Like one person down isn't a big deal, but it requires us to shake things up and move around. 3 people down is a pretty big problem. Yeah, even 2 people down isn't really a big deal. No. Depending on who they are. It. Yeah. But most people can we have enough healers. Yeah, most people can do some healing. You have there are 2 primary healers. Interestingly enough, there are a warlock and a sorcerer. Yeah. But Liam and Callie can also both artificers heal. Two artificers can heal. I think that's all artificers too. I think it's just an artificer spell. Yeah, it is. So 4 out of the 7 players can heal. Yeah. Somewhat at least. Yeah. And plus right now I threw an NPC at them, Ember. She's with them. She's a paladin. So paladins are all about the healing. So yeah, she could do that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Cool. So what's our the second next one? Little homebrew right there. It's a sorceress origin. Okay. So it's all I'm feeling sorcerer today. Where the sorcerer powers come from. I see. Yes. I will talk about it if I must, I guess. So yeah, because all right. So there's things like draconic bloodline. They've got all that kind of stuff. I saw this and I thought it was so cool. This is a really interesting one. It's called the Stone Soul. Ooh, so this might play into something that I'm working on here, but okay, go ahead. Yeah, it's basically someone who is one with rock or stone. Okay, yes. So there are certain spells that you can learn, like Earth Tremor, Shield, Earth Bind, Shatter, Meld into Stone, Stone Shape, Transmute Rock. Those all make sense.
rock-based spells.
Right.
That sorcerers don't normally get, but if you have this origin, then you would, right? So the way that this is written and sort of played out is like it's a curse also.
Okay.
So you can roll a d6 on this table or choose from the following. Stones follow you around. So like small stones will kind of just like
they'll just get up and go when you walk past.
Magnetize towards you, like just all the time.
Now, so do we want to think of it as them like sort of not becoming sentient, but or even alive, but like they start to skitter after you, or is it like a magnet?
Yeah, it's more like a skitter.
Either way.
Well, yeah, I guess those are similar. I think of it like Dragon Ball Z. The rocks start to float up off the ground, power level kind of. You know,
that could work.
That kind of thing.
That's the fun flavor. Yeah.
Your eyes glow with green energy. So okay,
that's a little boring.
Yeah,
but boring. Like
into the stones,
right?
Yeah, okay,
very good.
Maybe that's what they were going for.
Well, I mean, just eyes glowing it's just a thing. It's cool.
Yeah, again,
we like it.
So
it gives you some interesting role playing stuff because if they're always glowing, like, hey, I happen to notice you're a little glowy over there. All right, anyway, let's keep going.
So like, it's time for me to just lay it all on the table here.
Yeah,
this is like a Gorgon blood type thing.
Okay,
like you are like a Medusa, not to be confused with the D&D monster Gorgon, which is a different thing entirely. Like it's like a bowl thing that like a construct almost, I think. No, I'm talking about like Medusa Gorgon.
Right.
Because one of the other things that could happen is...
Hi, my name's Medusa Gorgon. It's nice to meet you.
Hello.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Medusa Gorgon from Gorgon LLC. Oh man, who's that actress who have you seen BoJack Horseman?
Yeah, I have.
The cat what's her name? Princess Cat.
Yeah, Princess whatever it is.
Catherine? No, Princess I can't remember her full name. But I just imagined the voice actress for that character saying that. that's like the voice for that kind of character.
We'll work on that, guys. We'll get that happening on the show.
All right. So anyway, one of the other ones is that you can hear hissing around you, like constant hissing.
Like snakes.
Yeah, snakes hissing around you. The skin on your hands hardens into stone. The ground beneath you cracks. Your spellcasting focus petrifies. Those kinds of things.
Oh, but these are... Is that every time you cast a spell?
Yeah, I think that this is...
or every time you do like...
that's like... It's like...
What's that thing called?
How your curse manifests when you cast something.
Yeah. I
So,
do always like that. I like when the magic has a physical impact on you.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like you can... Like something happens when you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. It's something that's kind of... It's kind of missing from Artificers. Right, which is what I'm playing right now.
I think you were doing. I could tell you were playing around with flavoring stuff last session, and I liked that. The way,
yeah, well, because I just found out how it's supposed to actually work. Like, I was actually supposed to be using my Tinker's tools or any set of tools as an arcane focus during combat.
Right.
That's how I was supposed to be doing stuff. I was literally just using materials and like whatever.
Yeah.
So. Now I know that, and now I have another arcane focus as well, so I can use that instead. But
yeah, I remember that you used the other artificers set of Tinker's tools to make a set of Tinker's tools for yourself.
Yes, which
I thought was fun.
Yes, and they will go away if I use them to make a set of other tools.
Another tool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are in the market for thieves' tools.
Well, I have some
for Summit. Oh, well, yeah, I guess you have some too.
So we're good.
So this has like a geomancy thing that you can do.
Ooh.
So you wait a minute. What? I'm sorry. I missed something here. Oh, petrifying arcanum. So you can use this as an action on your turn to cast a spell of first level or higher. You can use a bonus action to cause a curse to emanate from you. 15-foot radius, 1 minute. If a hostile creature enters or ends its turn in the area, it makes a Constitution save against your spell save DC. And if they fail, their movement speed is reduced by 15 feet, and they have disadvantage on weapon attacks until they leave. So you can do this once per short rest, or you can spend 3 sorcery points as well. So the geomancy thing is an improvement on that. You can do things. It says ruined land. The stone beneath your feet cracks and erodes away, causing the ground to become unstable. So you can create difficult terrain. You can bury people in stone. They take 1d4 bludgeoning damage from the stones falling on them.
It's not very much damage.
No, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But it's a bonus action, and
that's pretty
it's
good.
a feature. Yeah, it's not bad, not great, but not bad. The earth begins to undulate like waves in an ocean, and if they fail their save, they're knocked prone.
That's, I think,
it's an interesting one.
I think that might be a regular spell.
Probably
Available to wizards.
But again, it's a bonus action.
Yeah, as a bonus action, that's pretty good.
That's nice. Yeah.
So I'm trying to see like how this person is fighting. Like in my head, I'm trying to picture what they're going to be doing, and it feels like they're going to. Like, I wonder if they would like. I guess their goal is to bury people, to restrict their movement, to keep them all stuck in place, and then basically like shatter, that sort of thing. Man, does shatter hurt you worse if you're encased in stone?
I don't think so, but
maybe it could.
Maybe it could,
because it does. It hits stone harder, so maybe it like goes through it, and you're like, whoa, and it, like the shockwave.
Oh boy, yeah,
messes you up.
Yeah.
Some stuff like that could be fun.
At 10th level, you can create an earthen shield and give +2 AC to yourself and a number of allies equal to your charisma modifier.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. If it was a or like a wall. It was like a handheld shield, or if it was but it sounds like a wall.
Yeah, I think it's comes out from the ground.
Well, or multiple walls, actually, if you want.
And it looks like they can use a reaction to expend the shield, like, let it break, I guess, and only take half damage from a particular attack. Though it doesn't specify whether or not you have to call that before or after they roll damage.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would be nicer for the player to be able to choose to do that after the damage is rolled.
I mean, yeah, it would be. When have we ever cared about being nice?
And that's true. Again, you can use 3 sorcery points to do that again, if you'd like. And then at 18th level is where you get the thing that everybody really wants from this, which is the Eyes of Medusa, which lets you cast flesh to stone once for free. Just cast that spell.
Does it let you use sorcery points for it as well?
I believe so.
Like to do more casts per day?
I believe so. And it doesn't count against the number of sorcery spells that you know, which is nice as well. Cool. You can cast a spell once without a spell slot. You can expend 5 sorcery points to cast it again.
Okay. Yeah, now we're talking. Yeah, knock everybody down and then just turn them to stone before they can get to you.
Oh, interesting. Also, when you cast a spell from your Gorgonic magic, that's a fun word, you can use a bonus action to activate your Petrifying Arcanum feature without expending use of it or costing sorcery points. So basically, you can just do like 2 things for free.
Yeah.
Or 1 thing for free. It's like a buy one, get one free.
Yes.
It's a BOGO on the spells. Yeah, I thought that was a cool one.
It is.
You know, I like the idea of like Medusa type things, and
and as a curse, that's like a great thing to role play then.
mm-hmm.
Like that just makes it so so easy for your character to have something to work against.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
It's just built into who they are.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic to have a sorcery power be a curse.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
which I feel like some of them are already, like, or at least if they're not, they should be.
Yeah.
Does wild magic count as a curse?
Wild, I mean, you could see it either way.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how lucky you are. Maybe your curse is unluckiness.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right? Like,
yeah,
that could be a real mechanical thing though too, or not even mechanic, but like just looking back, you know, in retrospective, your character could just really flub it every time you get to a wild magic roll.
Yeah.
And then it could be revealed later on in the story of the thing that, like, yeah, you were cursed with bad luck from birth.
Wow.
And that's why this bad stuff keeps happening when you use your magic.
Like Will Friedle. I think it's Will Friedle.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's Will Friedle who has the or is it Will Wheaton who has the curse where he rolls terribly always. Because there was an episode of campaign 1 of Critical Role that, well, the comments will tell me, I'm sure, who it was. I won't bother looking it up.
Right. Yeah, but we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, he rolled an absurd number of natural ones. Like there's a 5% chance to roll a natural one.
Mm-hmm.
I think like half of his rolls were a natural one. It was insane. I've never seen it. I've never seen anybody roll that poorly. So
and that's exactly like,
there
like
you go.
Some people, like in the real world, some people just, like, it has to happen to somebody at some point.
Yeah.
That was me in RuneScape. I would just never get the good drops from monsters.
Really?
Even though it's the same chance for me as it is for somebody else.
Right.
You know, and other people are getting 3 drops within the drop rate, and I'm, you know, out here doing 4 times the drop rate, getting nothing. That's just how it was. And it's not like a built-in thing to the characters where, well, at least as far as we know, where some of them are lucky and some are not, or something like that. It's just
that's how randomness works. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, what if that was an actual curse on you in the game, and then you find a way to remedy it, and your wild magic luck starts to not suck anymore, and as a result, you get some sort of bonus when you roll on the wild magic table. It lets you re-roll or things like that. Like, I could see that being a cool extra upgrade for your character. Like you've broken the curse, but only if you've like legitimately been rolling bad enough to warrant that.
Yeah.
And otherwise, it just doesn't happen. It's just whatever.
Yeah. That's a fun sort of way to bring reality into the game,
mm-hmm.
basically. You know, yeah, that's a fun thing. So, yeah.
Now, I've got to talk.
Yeah, you have some homebrew stuff,
because I'm working on some homebrew because I decided that if we're going to be talking about homebrew all the time, and we are,
yeah,
I should probably know something about it. And to know something about it, I should probably be making some homebrew stuff, right? And testing it out and like getting to know all the different aspects of magical items, spells, homebrew, subclasses, all this stuff.
Yeah, that would help, I'm sure.
Well, I came up with a good solution because I'm a pretty busy person right now. I might be less busy soon, but less busy does not mean not busy.
Fair.
And I know people who are busy and have a lot to do. I know people who have plenty of free time as well. So, some people more than others. But here's my plan.
Okay.
We're working on the homebrew. What I'm going to do is run one-on-one sessions with people. And by the way, if you're hearing this and you're like, well, I wasn't invited, it's not because I don't like you. it is because I just didn't think about it. Like I just didn't get to yet, you know? And so reach out to me. It's okay. We're cool. I'll play with you. We'll do it. But one-on-one sessions with me as the DM,
Mm-hmm.
and then the player as the player.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense.
Sure.
And they're gonna, do a single character campaign. They can be short, they can be long. It doesn't matter, because the point for me is, number one, we're testing out homebrew content.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking weapons, all the stuff. I've already like even whole mechanics. I have a stealth mechanic I want to test out, and stuff like that. Number two, it's a crafty way to prepare for a campaign, because all I have to do is take these little mini campaigns, put them together into a story, or like a backstory of the realm, the world, and there you go. Now the setting is done.
Yeah, that's a cool way to do it.
And I both didn't have to do the work and did have to. And here's what I'm excited for. If I can get a campaign going after this, that's a big if.
Right.
Because it's always been hard for me to have that kind of time, or at least to prioritize it in that way when I've just got life as well. If I can get a campaign going, people are going to start to recognize the things that they created in it. And when they see it, they'll be like, oh, guys. Well, it could be like, guys, check it out. Oh my gosh, I know what this is. Or it could be, oh, guys, I know what this is.
Oh dear. Guys. Oh, I've heard of this.
Guys, it's not looking good.
Bad stuff's happening. Bad stuff. Yeah.
And it could be a mix, because they might use it for one reason and then it shows up for a different thing. I might change it up a little bit on you. And that's why, so I've made a bunch of homebrew items and stuff, and that's why I'm now more and more, as you're talking, wanting to do that too. Right.
Because, I have a great idea. So I made a bunch of these items, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get through this thought quickly, maybe, hopefully. Okay. So some of these items I specifically made for specific characters, but now I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool if I did a one-time thing with each individual person, but with somebody else's thing? So then when the things show up in the game,
yes,
like everybody knows about all of them, but they don't know about their thing.
Right.
But somebody else knows about their thing.
Right. Yes.
That'd be cool.
Yes, it would very much be cool. And when you see it and you're like, guys, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
We finally got, but then you're like, but I can't really use it.
But then you get to find out that one of the things you can use, and it's just as cool.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
But like when you see it, you're like, oh, I can't really use this one, but wait a second. I know who can.
Yeah, exactly.
I figured it out.
Exactly.
And that's cool. Like making your players feel smart for connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Is good. Because you are smart.
You are smart.
Somewhere in there.
So some of the items will be
down.
Some of the items will be obvious, I think.
Yeah.
Who they were meant for. Some of them are not, probably. And I'm curious to see if you guys will choose to give some of the items to people that I wasn't expecting, because that could possibly happen too.
Like if you give somebody something that gives them flight or levitation, I'm using that with Liam.
Okay, good to know.
Because I built him entirely wrong for what his class is and like his combat abilities.
Okay,
he should be heavily armored.
Oh,
he's supposed to have. He has 10 Constitution. He's supposed to have like 20.
Nice.
Or at least 16. Like he's not supposed to have a low Constitution. He's supposed to have heavy armor proficiency when he gets to that point. Somewhere.
Right. Somewhere down the line.
He's probably not gonna. Because he could barely fit into the light armor.
Yeah. Yeah. And you had discussed previously potentially retiring Liam for a bit and playing a new character in
well,
the
that
campaign,
was like,
potentially.
yeah, if Liam was going to die or something.
Oh, if he was going to die or something. Gotcha.
Like, yeah, if he dies, I've got backup plans ready.
Gotcha.
Multiple backup plans at this point. It'll be hard to decide.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be like the opposite problem that most people have.
Yeah,
where you're like,
I definitely have too many characters.
31 flavors. That's a lot of flavors at Baskin Robbins.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you make a decision? That's why Subway got rid of so many of their cheeses.
Yeah, we talked about that. But anyway, all right, I got a quick item, a fun one.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
Now, this is for one of it, like it's already planned for one of the campaigns that I'm running.
Okay.
Because the player, actually, it's our friend who made our wonderful fan art.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm not going to put up on the screen again right now, but it might show up in the thumbnail or something. I don't know where it'll be. It'll be around. You'll see it again because we love it. It's so cool.
It's so good. Yeah, it's so good.
He's going to be playing as a paladin.
Okay.
Now I made him a sweet weapon.
Oh, cool.
Now it's actually it's better than what I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to give away the whole thing, but it's also it's going to be his starting weapon.
All right.
So he's a dwarven paladin.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to give away his name because that's going to be hilarious when we get to it. It's going to be a real good show. Anyway, though, his starting weapon is going to be a flail. Now, flails, I believe, already have their own deal in D&D, but this is a special flail. Okay.
Okay. Special flail.
Special flail.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and here's how it works. Well, it has a normal hit, like a normal bludgeoning strike.
Yep.
No big deal. It can be used one-handed or two-handed.
Oh, okay.
When it's used two-handed, it doesn't hit harder like other two-handed weapons do.
Okay.
All right. But you can do something different with it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's how it works. And I'm actually worried that this is not powerful enough. At early levels, I think it'll be good. But I'm worried that it's not going to be strong enough because it uses up a bonus action. You can use your bonus action to spin the flail above your head.
Okay.
If the flail is spinning, you can do a strike with it, a sweeping strike.
Oh, okay.
The creatures you attack, you don't make a hit on them because you're swinging in a set path. You're not aiming like at them specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
In order to avoid the attack.
Makes sense. If
it hits them, it does something like 2 or 3 d8 damage. Pretty hefty amount of damage.
That's pretty good. That could one-shot most low-level creatures.
Oh, yeah, it will.
Yeah.
If it hits, it stops spinning as well. So you'd have to redo that next turn. If it misses, it goes to hit the next creature near you. So if you've got one in front of you and one, at the corner here or beside you, if you miss, if they make their saving throw, it tries to hit the next one. And you can go all the way around once. If you miss all of them, it is still spinning, so you can just do it again next turn. No bonus action needed.
Okay, got it.
So that's kind of fun.
Yep.
So you could just keep it going.
Keep it going.
But now listen, because it is actually going to get better as well.
I like that.
I thought of 2 upgrades to it that are going to make it go from, oh, that's a pretty fun, cool weapon, to that's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
And so, as his character progresses, it's going to get to the point where that's a good weapon. Because you're kind of you're forgoing a shield.
Because you need 2 hands,
which is unusual it's not unusual for a paladin. Some do, some don't.
Yeah, most paladins I would say would have a shield usually, but
now this weapon, it really encourages you to just rush right in there. But here's the other thing about it: it has a range of 5 or 10 feet. It's going to have an extended range like that, so you could sweep if you do the sweeping strike, which is, I guess, what I'm going to call it. I think that's already a thing.
Yeah, I think that's like a fighter martial archetype thing. Yeah.
But anyway, if you do that sweeping strike, I guess spinning strike. No, that's not better. I don't like that. You can do it at all creatures within 5 or all creatures within 10 feet, or who are at the range of 5 feet or who are at the range of 10, because you can't change the range and like zigzag it as you're spinning it in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
But you can hit everybody who's 10 feet from you.
Okay.
Now, just get good with positioning yourself, and you just like walk into the middle of a crowd and clear everybody out. And then you go over here and you clear everybody out there.
It's like Link's spin attack.
It is. Yeah. Well, although I guess it doesn't hit multiple targets, but...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It still encourages you to be in the middle of multiple targets when you can. And then you have to figure out how to space them and like keep them from all hitting you at once.
So basically that just turns something that's usually like pretty much always a bad thing into an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's always a problem, except now it's an opportunity.
Now you're like if there are 3 people next to you, you're pretty much going to hit one.
Yeah, you're going to hit one for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And as long as you don't care too much which one it is, then that's good.
That also poses an interesting thing, because if there are allies next to you,
mm-hmm.
it could hit them.
It could hit them.
Right.
Which is really nice for this character, I believe. But I think it's going to work. I don't know his full backstory yet. It's actually a character that he already pre-made.
Okay.
And wanted to use. And I was like, yes. Because I asked him a little bit. I asked him, would this be the kind of person who would see being surrounded by enemies as a challenge or a mistake?
Mm-hmm.
And he said it's a challenge. And I was like, yes, that's what we wanted.
That's the answer I was looking for.
That's what we wanted. That's the perfect person for this weapon. Now,
absolutely.
Yeah, the upgrades to it are going to be really good, but now we get to play test it and see if it's good enough. Maybe it will need to be the case that it sweeps through and can hit multiple targets. Maybe it will need to be more like the spin attack. And then if it hits any of them, it stops spinning. Or maybe the need to use your bonus action to spin it is that, like, maybe that's a mistake because paladins need their bonus action for other stuff.
It does.
So do other classes.
It does mean that he cannot smite while he does that.
Exactly. So that could be a real hindrance, and I want him to be able to use it to smite. I think. You see, like, so it takes some balancing.
Yeah.
It's not set in stone yet.
Because it's one of those things where it should probably take something extra to spin it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because otherwise...
But it could just be that you can only spin it if you use it with 2 hands. You know, could be the case.
So, like, if you have a shield, you have to drop it.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, you put it away or drop it. Like, you can only do this kind of sweeping strike with no shield. That could be the...
Okay, and then that entire round, you don't have a shield, so everything, you know, your AC is a little lower, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you had a shield out, you have to put it away.
Yeah, well, that's usually a free action.
Yeah. Oh, is it really? Oh, putting away, yeah.
Yeah, stowing... Well, even taking weapons out is usually a free action.
Oh, okay. I thought shields were a little different.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe it is.
Maybe it could be. Maybe I'll homebrew that.
I don't know, but because.
But either way, yeah, having the lowered armor class as a trade-off when you're surrounded.
Right, because
you know, if you don't kill them all, you're gonna get hit. But maybe your character doesn't mind that. Maybe your character is the kind of person who like walks out of a battle all bloody, and they're like, "Ha ha! Look what I just did."
Yeah. Some of this isn't even mine. Yeah, we have fun here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's
going to be a pretty fun one.
Yeah.
And man, the story ideas too. Mm-hmm. Ooh, we got some fun stuff. And we got to talk about yours after this. Maybe that's what we'll do in between episodes.
Talk about my homebrew stuff?
Well, your campaign we're going to run, that I'm running for you.
The one-on-one campaign. One-on-one. Yeah, I'd love to hear about it. I'm excited
to hear about it because I don't know anything about it yet. We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, you told me if I had any character ideas, so I guess we'll figure out if there's any kind of character that you're looking for. And
I'm looking for all sorts of characters because I'm weaving together a story, and I can work with pretty much anything. Although, so Carly did call dibs on, or she did perfectly happen to choose something that works into a particular evil character that I wanted to.
She's good at that. Carly has good ideas.
That's why she plays a sorcerer. Good ideas. I thought you meant the evil thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Seren is so evil.
Pure evil. I don't know. There's something about her. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about Carly's character.
You know, because you picked up on it, I'll just cat out of the bag. Like, she's the BBEG.
I knew it. Well, it won't be the last time, so.
No. I signed a blood pact with Carly that she always got to be the main antagonist of every campaign that she's in. So,
well, that's swell.
Spoilers,
that's nice.
I guess, for every campaign in the future.
Is she your patron?
Yeah.
She's your warlock patron?
No, she's just a devil from the 9 hells.
Oh, okay.
And I signed a contract.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it was like one of those sort of like
those
you scratch my back, I burn yours.
I did get a really nice like assorted mix of peanuts for it. And they were pretty tasty. So I think it was worth it.
Well, I think we got to get going, guys.
On that note,
we're going to catch you later.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, wow. You made it here to meet us finally. We've been here all along. That totally undoes I just retconned our entire deal from earlier.
Yeah.
That's my bad. I'm not a very good writer, guys. All right, see you later.
That's a wrap. Oh, man. I yawned like 3 times during that. I don't know. I